without further ado, let me invite Francois and Lavuyo to the stage. Round of applause. And if you have, there are seats. If you are outside, still waiting, there are a number of seats, especially in the front, right and center.
This is really a chance to get to know Lavuyo, but perhaps tell his story, from those of you who heard his story, from a slightly different angle. It's really just an honor to have him here. He is a product of the GSB, but he's also a product of the 4 founders who are here in the audience with us. We just wanted to recognize Mwabo, Mangipa, and Sheriff. Thanks for all of you for being here. And also just an opportunity for Lavuyo to share with us some of the experiences of an entrepreneur who's been receiving finances. And you'll hear the types of finances he's been receiving, whether it be cooperative type finance, loans, grants, awards, soft loans, enterprise development, foundations. So it's going to be an interesting journey he'll take us on. And just to say, it's a privilege again that he's come back to the school. He was not in any of my classes, but it was long before my time. But Lavuyo, thanks for coming back and sharing this journey with us. I also know that you have other supporters in the audience. But for those of us, perhaps just at the beginning of this discussion, who don't know the Sululu story, perhaps you can give us that initially, and then we'll have a 2-minute snapshot video of kind of Sululu at last year, and then we'll talk about this year and where you're going.
Thank you very much for everyone. I think for me, it's also an honor and a privilege to come and share. With the story of Sululu, and even myself, when I talk about this story, I don't believe in terms of what we could do. I was born in Queenstown and in the Eastern Cape. So in 1994, when there was a kind of a democracy in our country, so everyone was like doing politics, and I wanted to do political science in 1995 in UWC, but I couldn't able to do that because they were Choi. So and that time I couldn't have an opportunity, and then end up going back home, not doing anything. Come back to Cape Town, '96, Cape Tech, doing teaching and commerce, and finish. Started working at Kailicha, working as a teacher, teaching commerce, accounting, business economics. It took me 3.5 years to be a teacher. I was much more involved with finance committee, governing body. That period, and I think I reached the ceiling very early. I really enjoy teaching. I think teaching is part of me, and I think I'll always be a teacher. But that time, the education was introducing outcome-based education, which means that teachers have to use computers as part of their tool as a school. So I resigned, spoke with my brother then, started selling refurbished computers, which is second-hand computers. And I sold those computers on the boot of a car, a Corsa, door car. And so when I used to go to school, before even I talk about the computers, they would ask me, where do you get these computers? Last month you were a teacher, now you are selling computers. and our school, 2 months back, there was a break-in, they stole the computers. Your computers are black, are Dell computers. So Dell is the same thing. So I have to explain in terms of where I get the computers. Where I'm staying, people are looking at it in the cabinets and said, no, you are not right. You can't just resign and sell second-hand computers. No, there's no way that I'm able to pay. But that allows me to believe in terms of this computer. So I sold 2 computers. My brother, we go and borrow 10,000. And we bought 4 computers. So September, there were 2 computers. November, there were 2 computers. December, what we realized is that in teaching, teachers come together as a group. So we introduced a stock fab, which is a saving. So we encourage teachers to contribute 400 a month and form a 6 group, within a group of 6. So they form a group of 6 and they contribute 400, 400, 400. Within 6 months, all of them, they've computers. And I use that to other schools. And you know teachers tend to compete. If say someone buy computers, or someone was going to buy computers. So I use that in terms of showing and say that no, in primary they're buying each other computers, you can't be left out. So they buy computers. So once they bought these computers, we realized that no, they just put Mr. Mean and put in a room divider and a white cloth. No one is using because they're not skilled enough to use computers. So, and it becomes a hit for us because the kids were making fun of their mothers. Mama, you can't use computers. So we said, no, we need to train them. But we couldn't have a space because our office it was a boot of our car. And we, with my brother, he was much more involved now. We said, no, we need to have an internet cafe in Kailicha, where we think people will come in and access to the internet, and that internet cafe will train in the internet cafe. And that process was the problem now with the repairs. Because both of us, we don't have anything, we can't able to fix computers, so we have to find a third partner. So we came in, so become 3 of us. So the name Silulo, it's our name. The SI is Sigrebo, L-U, Vuyo, L-O, So we said we bring technology to our communities. We realized at the beginning that we have to bring computers, technology in our communities. And Nandipa joined us and 4 of us. So we went to every school in the township, present, and said this is a computer, it's a keyboard, it's a mouse. You can buy it for over 3 months, or you can buy it through Stockfair, or you buy it by lay-by to us. So it works. Either they give us names, either they were loving us, and then that time they were building a culture mall, a mall at that time, and we applied to have a shop in the mall. But we couldn't afford, we couldn't qualify because we were blacklisted, we didn't have any profile, and we didn't even have a business plan that would show that we wanted an internet cafe. So we didn't qualify, we were disappointed, we came back, we saw one of the tenants, we asked, can we have a space, 30 square meters, to have first internet cafe in Kailicha? So this guy was saying to us, no, I want to have a bookshop. So no way, in Kailicha bookshop, no, not now. We can't have a bookshop, we need an internet cafe. So we started with, we went to our supplier, we didn't have money, we have an idea. Went to our supplier and said, can you loan us 10 computers? Every month, we'll pay you 2,000 rand with a stock. So he gave us computers, 10 computers, went to the old man who does the woodwork to do tables for us, and that old man does, and went with our partner Nandipa to the suppliers to get the material. They come with the material, and then we started putting tables and started with the internet cafe. First month, internet cafe, revenue 350, expense 12,000. 6 months, people want money and check are bouncing, everything is a mess. And that time I was studying at UCT at that time. And it was kind of frustrating time for us. And we realized that we are in a problem, but we want to do this thing. So we met one of the local radio stations, Radios Bonele. We said, we don't have money for marketing. So we could have exchanged it. We'll give you a computer and a printer and support you with your IT need. In return, we need to give us a slot in the local radio for ad and also to tell people in terms of the slot. So they give us on Sunday, 9:30 to 10 o'clock, where people want listening to go to church. So when the radio, we said we come from Silulo, if you need copies, lamination, binding, photocopy, you come to us. People were coming to our internet cafe, and they saw the newspaper said that you must email your CV. So they come to us and said that, Chief, I want to email this thing. So they cannot difference between email and fax. They think that it's like you just put it and then come outside. So I said, oh man, there's a problem here. We need to train our people because they have to do themselves, a CV for themselves, and are also able to understand. So we train in the internet cafe for an hour, charging 10 rand. Become popular. We realized no. Training, we have to make sure that we have a better training. So we started investing on the training, where we put the content and manuals, and then we probably go through a process of being accredited. That time, it was the end of 2006, so I was studying here at UCT. So UCT, they used to have a fund for small businesses, up to 50,000, to fund for fixed assets. So they fund us to buy this computer first from the suppliers. So we bought about 26,000, bought these computers, and after that, they were able to assist us to open the second training venue. So we opened the second venue through the funding, from here. So we opened the second venue, so students were coming in. We trained for 6 months, and training changed our business. In the sense that after they've trained for 6 months, they will find employment, they will come back, buy computers, they will come back, use our services. They will study further and they start their own businesses, because it changed our businesses to where probably with the video will show you where we are now.
Let's fast forward to 2012 and then we'll take it from there.
Yes.
2009 to 9.4 million rand in 2012, an increase of 568%. Sidulo Ulumtel Technologies is providing the previously disadvantaged communities with the means to improve their chances of employment and standard of living.
Thanks. Just before we go back to the story, I'd like to go back again and look at the different stages of growth and the financing you used along the way. So just maybe update us in 2013 on the snapshot of Silulu, because even then it said you had 18 stores, but I know that 23?
Yes, currently we have 18 stores in the Western Cape and 5 stores in the Eastern Cape. We employed now 105 full-time employees. We have trained about 12,000 students in this past 6 years.
It's a phenomenal story from where you hear about where we were just a few years ago. So you had Stockville cooperative savings, you had loan financing from a university, you also won the SAP Kickstart Best Entrepreneur in South Africa, which was some grant financing. At what stage did you start actively looking? You had the 3 F's, right? You had the family, you had the travel, you had the friends, and were you looking for fools or were you looking for investors? And what were you, and how did you go about that journey, and who was there for you as you started to fund a significant growth?
No, the journey was difficult at that time because we probably see the model by 2007 in terms of we have one-stop center. The internet, the training, and the repairs and the sales computers. And that time we couldn't get money to expand, to open more centers. And also our record in terms of credit record in the banks, we were blacklisted.
You go to the bank?
We did. I mean, we did go to Absa Bank, and they could not be able to give us a loan because we couldn't qualify. All of us, I mean, we didn't put in that we could look for the bank. And we saw SAP Kickstart as a way for us, one, to get that money, because they have this amount for if you win as a best entrepreneur and you compete national. So we saw SAP as a way for us to compete. So we compete out of 20 businesses in the Western Cape, and then we won the best in the Western Cape. We won the grant, and we took that amount as it is. We opened 2 stores, and we won nationally and opened another 3 stores. And that process, the growth was kind of coming for us in terms of let's open more stores, and we applied for the SAP Foundation, and then also they were able to assist us in terms of the growth. And that time also we met with Colin, and Colin was with the TBN, which is Transmission Business Network from UK, and we met with one of the founders or the member of the TBN, and we presented our idea. That time we presenting, we say that we wanted to have one-stop center where we have about 500 computers in the township. We open 24 hours and people are coming in. So we talk with the investors and we say that maybe it's better for you to expand as many stores before you look at in terms of one-stop center. And then we said that, okay, well, let's look at funding, like a loan. So we're able to get a loan, which is a soft loan. And that loan, we use it to open 3 more stores. And MWeb as a part of enterprise development, so they were looking at one of the success stories in the township. So they also give us a grant to open another stores to grow. And we realized also, and now there's much more interest in terms of a grant and competition. We said, no, our business is not getting money. Our business is to run these businesses. For sometimes, we're no longer looking for funding now. We're focusing in terms of building the businesses. Make sure that the systems and HR and the finance are in place before we grow to other parts. And that time we're focusing more. And last year, we said, okay, we want to go to Eastern Cape, but we don't have funding. So we approached Beta Foundation to fund us for 5 stores to grow and able to open stores. So it came at different times in terms of around the funding.
So I mean, you've actively had impact investing. So these investors have not been your traditional venture capitalists.
No, they're not. They're not the same as venture capitalists or the bank. They're not looking at in terms of getting their return in the short term. They have kind of relationship. They support in terms of the mentorship. They support in terms of strategic guidance, and they make sure that we grow in our businesses. So it's not a matter of money. It's a matter of they invest money, but also they have interest in us. And I think those kind of values that we look at in terms of the partner that we partner with.
I know time is relatively short, but this is a fascinating story you can continue to unpack. So maybe one last question for me, and if there's time from Caroline and Sue to take one or two from the audience as well. From your perspective, you've been through this. So what have the challenges been, and how can you see the kind of ecosystem of players that you've seen in this room, that you've heard about this morning, that you know about out there in the world? How can that help you and you know all the other entrepreneurs you know working alongside you in Kailicha and around the Eastern Cape?
I think one for me, I'm too much ambitious, and I believe that Usilolo is going to be every province. I mean, I want to see in Polokwane. I also want to see in Africa fragment. And for that to happen, there has to be investment in terms of investing the growth. And I think the growth will be purely on the franchise part. And the franchise part is more to allowing the entrepreneur who's in Tanzania to get, the center and run the center where you work with us. So the investment is more, not from us per se, it's more to invest from the entrepreneur so that we can create more Luvuyos through this venture that we're in. So I think hence there's a need in the long run for the investment. But dealing with and sitting and spending time in the township almost every day, and there's so much need on the investment. There's so much need in terms of the space where people can know in terms of which door can they go to get the investment and the support. Well, there's no door. There's no way in terms of us. And I think it's been all in our interest to say that we don't want to succeed in this environment alone, because it won't sustain it. So we need more of us that will come from there. And it's more about the awareness, it's more about us as ambassadors of Better Foundation to go out and talk that Better, if you want funding, they'll be able to work with you.
Luvuyo is also quite involved in, as he said, not only his own business, but also supporting other entrepreneurs in Kailicha and townships through the Kasi network, and that's all of Silulu that are supporting that. And so that's an investment you're already making back into your own community. So that's what he was referring to. Do we have time for
let's take
one or two questions?
Yeah, one or two questions.
Have you ever thought of bringing your the concept from Kailicha to Mugure to Kailicha?
Yes, we in that process of getting, I think, at Nyanga, we started Nyanga Junction where we get the center, and then definitely at some point we'll be able to be Mugure. It's kind of closer to us, so we're looking at that.
Can you tell us more about the Ikasi network and how this could spread to to Gauteng as well, to townships there? Your experience and your skills, how to leverage them.
Well, Ikasi network is a network, guys. When I started interacting with Colin, on the TBC, and I realized that the entrepreneurs in the township, they are not ready for these opportunities. And for them to be ready, there has to be a space where they're able to network on a regular basis. So in a month, in our offices, we invite entrepreneurs around Kailicha to come and invite three speakers to come in and share the opportunities, the journey, the story. In that way, it makes to create the trust amongst the entrepreneur, the support amongst the entrepreneur. So every month, there's that kind of a session. So last year, we've done the conference with Elvis, where we invited everyone for the full day, similar with this one, where with different stakeholders to come and share. So that is something that is taking place on a monthly basis, that is taking the township.
Thank you. My name is Dipo from the Tony Elwelu Foundation. My understanding of your funding mix is that you have both grants and equity. So my question is, if you back out the grant, would your business have been at this level? If the answer is yes, then it gives me a sense that, okay, maybe this business from the start could take off, because it takes us back to the issue of, do you really need support from the grant standpoint, to get to a point where impact investors can come in? Or, I mean, I just want your thoughts
Yes.
based on your
No,
experience.
you're 100% right. I think it's a good question. Even like the situation that we're in now, this year we are going to open 7 stores in the Eastern Cape. And those stores, they are going to be self-funded through the business, able us to have those kind of stores. And even in the beginning, if we couldn't get the support from TBN or SAB, I think we'll be able to make sure that we drive the maybe we could call, I mean, I think if you look at our center, the more, it's more to look and feel, because we're looking at in terms of bringing kind of a dignity and a pride. We're not looking in terms of typical internet cafe that we see everywhere. And it becomes one-stop center where it becomes the cellular, the internet cafe, and also the training. But we will able to run, maybe we might be 10 stores instead of 24 stores if we're using our own money. But we're in a position that we could fund the expansion, but we could expand very quick to make 100 instead of 7. Because the model, the system, everything is been tested.
Just from what I know, you correct me, Luvuyo, the grant funding is relatively small compared to the amount of loan. I mean, so you're talking about loan and grant.
Yes.
The TBN and TBC was loan financing, if I'm not correct in this name. So actually, I think the grant component is relatively small. And the other thing is they haven't taken any equity investment. They believe in their business, so they've had strong. Even the impact investors saying, we want a piece of this, and they're as the ownership group have said, we believe in this business. So that's a very good indication on its own that these guys believe in it, and there's clear. I'm just wondering if there's time for one comment actually from Colin, as one of the kind of earliest, if you want to use the term impact investors, the TBN, TBC in South Africa. It's worth, from your perspective, saying what you saw in the early days and how you positioned your support, because it was more than financing as well.
Yeah. Hi everyone, Colin Haverton. Our organisation, Relative, assisted the process of connecting international investors with an appropriate target. And I think what was the overwhelming choice about why an investment was made into Salulo came down to the people. That's what we believed in. And I think it's important to mention that yes, money was involved, but there was also a very strong relationship that was required, and that was actually a very big test of Luvuyo and his team's character, to be able to have that type of intervention in a certain sense, where we sat with the business, we were part of that process, and although we were quite heavily involved, I would say in the early stages, as that started to not become necessary. There was no need for us to continue to have that type of timing and that type of intensity. But I think that's really key. It's not just about the money that goes with it, it's about the intention from the investor and making sure that there's a connection and the appropriate mix culturally as well.
Thank you. I think that's all we've got time for. While we've been sitting here, sort of 100 people have been getting training in one of Salulo's stores. With certificates, and just wanted to thank Luvuyo again for coming back and sharing the time, and the whole team. Clearly that business is running well if the entire management, senior management team is with us for the day. But that's it from us, Luvuyo. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much.